And then it also creates a nice little moment with TC that I think is...
Yeah, he serves
good.
as like my big brother on the show. You know, we've taken a similar path in terms of our characters. He served in the military. You know, he was a medic and a doctor. Now, obviously, he works here. And, you know, I don't know if we were ever overseas together or, you know, that hasn't been exactly hammered out how we know each other. If I met him here and then we just kind of bonded over that. But he's probably certainly someone that I've heard about. I've been overseas. I've done a year overseas, a year or two as a medic. I'm a lieutenant in the Army, obviously now in the Army Reserves and doing my residency here. But I view him, you know, as my big brother and the guy I'm going to learn from. And so, yeah, that in the pilot, that secret just created this great little moment between us. And you kind of see the person that he is in terms of how he responds to it. And you see how much that I struggle with it. And so it's this great little moment.
Yeah, I thought that was great. Going forward, how does he continue to deal with that? Obviously, he has big reasons for not wanting to do it, for not wanting to say anything,
right.
And then that creates other
obviously
areas.
There'll ultimately be a reveal about the secret,
right.
You know, and it's just a matter of kind of you know, playing it out and creating this character that you know, he's not the poster boy for this. We didn't ever want this to be, and I've talked to Jeff and Gabe about it, and you know, he's not this all thing for all people. You know, this is his struggle and his secret, and he's going to have a different way of dealing with it than other people. And I don't think he needs to be a part of that particular community. I think he just wants to be a part of just the world, you know, and humanity and stuff like that. And I think sometimes that's the interesting part is that we've, you know, I don't think he wants endorsement. You know, I think he wants acceptance.
Right.
And then you can, you know, you can disagree. You know, you can be civil about it and say, like, that's not really my, you know, doesn't fit into my set of beliefs or anything like that. Because I have friends like that. I have, you know, I have friends who do not share the same beliefs as me. And I love them to death. And, you know, we agree to disagree. And I would never endorse their point of view, and I don't think they would certainly endorse mine. But I've accepted it, you know, and we're all equal in that sense. And I think he's afraid people won't. Never mind the endorsement. That's a whole nother stuff. He's afraid that, you know, this with the secret of an acceptance, and then he's wondering if he's going to find that here.
And taking that, I mean, that's just one facet of who he is. So he's got plenty of other stuff going on. I notice he's got challenges into how he's dealing medically with the technology of what he did over there as to what he's doing here. Is he going to continue to struggle with that?
It's not so much as, yeah, I mean, it's a learning process. I mean, it's the struggle in the sense that you don't know everything, and he's obviously just in his second year of residency. But there's different rules, you know, being a medic overseas. I mean, you place a tourniquet on something. You know what I mean? You're going to lose the limb, but you're saving a life. Obviously, being in a hospital situation in the ER with the equipment you have, and, you know, kind of a more sterile environment, he's got to understand how things are done differently here. And that's what TC struggles with. You know, he still plays, you know, as that guy. He's still he takes advantage of all the technology here, but he also kind of bucks the system with having had to do so many kind of unorthodox things overseas. And he's made it work for him here. And I think that's what, you know, Drew will ultimately is trying to find as well in terms of the hospital setting is, you know, understanding all these things and using them to the best of, you know, your ability. But he still has to understand that, you know, when he goes back overseas, it's just going to be a little bit different. So you just take advantage of where you're learning and what you're learning about and the setting in which you're learning it. And then, you know, some of those things that he learned in the Army, he's got to throw away coming back here to an ER, and some of the things that he's going to learn here in the ER, you know, once you go back overseas. And you know, and it's just developing that kind of those instincts and that wisdom and that kind of that discernment, which I think is going to be interesting for him.
Yeah, sounds like it. And also, because he's so close to TC, how is he going to affect him when this guy Scott comes in, the fiance of Jordan, where there's going to be sparks there.
Yeah, I ultimately always will have TC's back, but I also understand that he's a guy who's just going to fight his own battles, and he'll come to me when he needs help, or I'll be able to acknowledge it. But he is some sort of a lone wolf, if you want to call him that, and so I think Drew understands that, and he's got to respect that about him.
Yeah.
And I don't think TC, he always also has that thing because of that he doesn't want to drag other people into it. But, this is kind of a crew where, we work hard, but we also we go hard, on the other side of it in terms of pranks and jokes and all that stuff. And so, ultimately when it comes down to it, though, we all have each other's back. And, yeah, Scott's the new guy, so.
Great. Thank you so much.